Okay, let's roast or boost your bikes. All right, Rob Quest on Discord has a 2021 Kawasaki ZH2, a major upgrade from my CF Moto CLX-700 Sport. This man skipped like 9 steps on the ladder to climb to the top of the Squid Kingdom. God bless you, going from a CLX-700 to a freaking ZH2. And look at that sucker. Oh, man. It's got the pipe on it, too. He's got the proper sport touring tires on there. This man knows what's up. Look at him. He's tossing out this dirty CF Moto over here. I don't even know if that's the CF Moto he's talking about. It's probably not. Look at this guy. I got to hand it to you. You certainly look more appropriate on the ZH2 than you did on the CLX. I will say that to you right now. I certainly think that you fit the vibe of that bike better. Yeah, man. That was probably quite a quantum leap from the CF Moto. What is it? This guy on chat here said, should have bought a coffin with it. I really hope that's your truck too, because that just matches. Like, I feel like ZH2s definitely have Boosa Boy energy a little bit about them. Definitely have a little bit of Boosa Boy energy. Fantastic ride. It's clean. It looks great. It's got the pipe on it. This guy looks awesome riding it, right? Certainly a little squiddly, but come on, he's on a ZH2. Let the guy have some fun. Yeah. Chris on chat said he makes the bike look small. He certainly does, right? Like, this guy definitely must be on the bigger side because the ZH2 does look pretty tiny. That's not a tiny bike. That's the ZH2's plump. All right. Purple Gorilla 1. A 2000 Suzuki GS500E. That's a 24-year-old motorcycle, folks. First bike. Got it because it's supposed to be easy to work on, and I don't know much about mechanics. Already cleaned the carbs, and it still runs, so there's that. Lives at 6,000 feet, but runs just rich enough to pop and crackle a little. I love it. I have a bit of a soft spot for these like early 2000s 500 class bikes. One of my buddies that I used to ride with many, many years ago had a Ninja 500 that was like a similar vibe to this. It was a fully faired bike, but wasn't quite like this. And also, I believe that Shaff on YouTube rides a 500cc early 2000s kind of just, kind of workhorse little machine like this. And honestly, this one is extremely clean for a 24-year-old GS500. You see these in like horrible, horrible states of disrepair. This is a really good-looking little motorcycle. I love the 3-spoke in the front. That's so classic. Single-sided disc over here. That's great for a bike that probably doesn't weigh that much, right? This thing probably weighs, what, like 350, 360, something like that. Twin analog clocks. Love that on a motorcycle. They did this for like every bike back in the day. Honda Hornet 919 had this too. Just like classic, Beautiful scenery. Living at 6,000 feet. Loving life. I mean, I can't. It looks factory fresh, right? Chat, like this is really nice. It's like a really nice bike. Yeah, I just want to look at it a little bit more. I think everything's stock on it. Look, the turn signals. I think there's a little bit of a tail tidy maybe. The mirrors, it's in extremely clean condition. It's really cool. I love time capsules like this. It's really nice. Jonesy231 had a 2009 KLR 650 and then got a 2016 FZ-07. Very nice upgrade. Quality bike. Wow, man, you guys have the cleanest bikes. This is ridiculous. I was expecting to see a clapped out 2016 because FZ-07s live hard lives, folks. They live hard. This boy's out here tracking the bike. Man, my Discord boys are living the dream. Look at this. What is this god-awful, ugly-ass Suzuki SV650 headlight over here? It looks like Poindexter over here. Looks like a freaking goggle-wearing nerd. I don't know who you're hanging out with over here, but you gotta ditch this dude immediately. FZ looks great with the Tuono over here. These two bikes look great. I don't know what this third bike is over here, but y'all gotta ditch this one. Y'all gotta ditch this one. Got the subtle, beautiful shot under the sunset. He's out picnicking with his bike. The lonely rider over here. I just love the fact that you went from a KLR to an FZ-07. You're like, man, screw that KLR. I ain't riding no friggin' dork machine. I ain't riding no single-cylinder friggin' busted-up motorcycle. Can't do a damn thing on a KLR. FZ-07? You can do a lot on FZ-07. You can do a lot. Yeah. Looks great. Got another photo? Nope, that's it on the FZ-07. I always really enjoyed this colorway. I thought that this was one of the coolest colorways they had for the bike, and I wish they would re-release this, but Yamaha does like, they do like a funky colorway for like a year, and then they just delete it. Then you never see it again. And honestly, this bike set the tone for middleweight, parallel twin, 270 crank sport bikes. Like this is the one. This is the one. Yeah. Awesome bike. Joe Mama on Discord. My 2008 ZX6R and my 2017 FZ-07. You boys, they got the FZs. They are nothing like when I got them. Both have their cases. The FZ is my daily commuter, and the ZX6 is my squid missile and future track toy when I can afford a track day. Well, my friend, if you didn't have two bikes, you could do tracks, you know? All right, let's see these bikes. I did not expect that for the ZX6. That's kind of a cool colorway. What year is this? 2008. Yeah, that's a good vintage for the ZX6. I like the red, green, and whites in me is kind of giving me like an Italian colorway to it, a tricolore type of thing. The red wheels are pretty sweet. You got the giant Insta360 stick. I see you. You making that squid content on that thing. I know you are. I know you're making squid content on that thing. There's absolutely no way you're not. It's a very good looking 2008 though. That's a good looking bike. I love seeing older 600s that have had like the plastics kind of updated and fixed up a little bit because it looks really, really good. And then the FZ-07 matches, baby. Look at that big stick. I know you're making squid content. I know you're popping wheelies. Don't even lie to me. You got green grips. Don't lie to me. If you're on stream, don't lie to me. Alex on chat says, watermelon. It does have a bit of a watermelon vibe to it, right? Yeah, this is the flying watermelon. You should call it that. You should put a decal on it that says the flying watermelon. Because, yeah, I'm getting like a juicy Jolly Rancher kind of vibe from it. Oh, look at this pipe. You know that's atrociously god-awful loud. You frickin' squid. I know it too. I know just from the frickin' selfie stick over here. Like, come on. I know what you're doing. Now I know what you're doing. You know, this headlight looks pretty sweet. Look at that. This is to probably update the look of the FZ-07 to look more like the new generation, because it kind of does. So that's pretty cool. All right. I dig it. It's pretty good. Shirtless Scottish guy on Discord. Hello from across the pond in sunny Scotland. Here we have my first leader bike, a 2004 CBR 1000RR Fireblade. Absolutely perfect vintage. Absolutely perfect vintage for this one. It had lots of love from previous owners, carbon all over the shop, carbon Yoshimura slip-on under the tail, plus many other add-ons. I really want to ride in Scotland and the west side of that island. What is it, like Wales and up north in the west and stuff? Like, just got to pick a good time of year to do it, but man, this bike still looks awesome today, man. 2004 CBR 1000 still looks freaking sweet. Look at that. It looks great. These bikes have aged like a fine wine, man. I really think that we're just going to look back at this like mid-2000s period of like leader bikes and 600s as like this was the golden era of motorcycling. We're never going to get here again, and all this parallel twin crap can go F itself. Come on, let's be real, folks. Come on, let's call a spade a spade. These bikes are superior in every way. Look at it in the car park, looking sinister at night, all the stickers on it, looking great. Love it. Love it. Keep the dream alive. I see a tank bag in the back here. You know, this gentleman's doing enormous trips on this. For some reason, Euro squids love taking leader bikes to like 2,000-mile trips. I'm like, God bless you. I would not do that. Jay says Wales is not part of Scotland. Look, I understand. I was basically just saying like, I just want to ride most of the UK, okay? I didn't say Wales was part of Scotland. I know that there's like different places there, you know. You got your London, you got everything else. Scotland's at the top, and you got some green stuff and some tea in the middle, right? And some sheep. I think that's what your country's like. I have no idea. Fancy on Discord says, hiya, I'm a second-year rider. Here's my second bike that I adore and has made me a complete sport tourer groupie. A 2022 GSX-1000GT. I chained the master cylinder to a radial as it should have been. We have a person of taste here. Changing that master cylinder. New headers and a Lex Tech exhaust kit from across the pond. Ermax windscreen for more minimalist styling with better protection. I've never heard of any of these brands. I'm going to be completely honest. Everything else just personal touches to appease my orange aesthetic obsession. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, it's a good-looking bike. I test rode one of these not too long ago, and I was really impressed with it, honestly. The thing about the Suzukis is that, like, they're old. They're kind of like known technology. They like barely try, but when they do, they make a really good bike, you know? Like this has the K5 Gixxer Thau engine in it. It has basically a superbike frame. I mean, look how beefy that is. It's more for sport touring. The subframe looks great. It's just a great bike to plunk down a bunch of miles. So, yeah. I mean, look at this. I like the case covers on it, the protection, the exhaust. It's a lot of bike, that's for sure. And the orange and all that makes it look kind of, Transformers-esque. Yeah, this thing has a lot going on. I always thought that the GSX-1000GT was just like a substantial bike that's got a lot going on, but it really does work really well for long distance, proper sport bike touring things. And I think it really fits the mold. Yeah, it's a good bike. Looks clean. I personally, the orange is not to my taste, but it's your bike. Do whatever you want. I like that the wheels at least match the orange. That's pretty cool. So yeah, GSX-1000GT. Not too bad. Hey folks, I hope you're enjoying this Yammie Noob Livestream clip. Remember, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube, I do the streams. If you want a chance to participate in the live streams, head over to yammie-noob.co and become a member. You'll get access to our Discord server, automatic entries to win our giveaway motorcycles, and access to our newsletter as well. It's a great way to support the show. It's like a bike night that never ends over there. It's a lot of fun, and I'm on there all the time. Join as a member on yammie-noob.co and support the show. Joshua CL. Hey yo, I've been riding for 3 months and this is my first bike. It's a 2005 Ducati ST3 and I've put over 1,000 miles on it. Not the best bike to start on, but it was the most affordable one I could find on Facebook. So this is a really peculiar motorcycle to start as your first. And I know why this was cheap. There's several reasons, right? Number one, it's not the most handsome Ducati that there ever was. It is a very, very peculiar motorcycle. This is from a time when Ducati was making, other than this was when they were making the 999 in the early 2000s when it replaced the 916 or the 998 or whatever the hell that was. The one with the Cyclops headlights. Basically everything in Ducati's lineup at that point was ugly and weird. I'm just going to be totally honest. Like, if you guys have ever seen the Multistrada from these years, they are just so hard to look at. And the ST3, kind of the sport touring option, similar vein. This one looks to be in good spec. Older Ducatis tend to have a bit more cantankerous maintenance, but this is pre-Volkswagen ownership of Ducati. This is when Ducati was an independent company, and I really think that these older Ducatis have a lot of charm, a lot of flavor, a lot of character, and honestly, with the 2 color-matched hard bags, pretty agreeable ergonomics, I mean, it's a pretty sweet little bike, I think it's a pretty sweet bike. Look, it looks really good. You took this on a DSLR. You got the freaking soft focus. Looks great. In terms of the nick that it's in, let's say, because I do think aesthetically, it is a bit regrettable. Let's say. Well, look, that's got integrated turn signals from the factory. Back in 2003 was this thing made? Is that what he said? 2005 ST3. Man. It's stuff like this. When I look at a Ducati from the mid-2000s, I really start to understand just how long ago 2005 was. Sometimes I forget how long ago it was. I'm like, mid-2000s. It's always like 10 years ago in my mind. Nope, folks, that was 20 years ago. And when you look at Ducati design, you really start to understand that we're talking about 20 years ago. It looks like a dinosaur. It looks ancient. But yeah, look, a little LCD, a little analog tacho, like, it's sweet. It's sweet, but yeah. All right, AI Tech Grunt. I bought my 2022 Z400 ABS in February, and it's my first bike. One of the previous owners, installed a slip-on Akrapovic. I added a Puig, windshield and T-Rex Racing crash guards and spool. I painted the crash guards and spool to match the bike, but the paint has not held up. I really like the bike so far, but I can't wait to move up to something with more power. I know people say us older riders, I'm 43. Yeah, you're not that old. They're supposed to be more cautious, but fast boy, gotta go fast. I love the fact that you're 43 and you were still like, no, I'm gonna get a little bike and take my time and just enjoy it. Like, that's so awesome. I think sometimes older guys, they just want to like speed run motorcycling and they're like, I'm gonna go get a GS. And it's like, please don't go get a GS. You have no business buying a GS. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should get it. So kudos to you for buying a motorcycle that is super approachable, fun, playful, peppy. But yeah, like the desire to go fast is always going to be there. You're always going to want to push that envelope and go a little faster. Z400, I really feel like people sleep on these a little bit just because the Ninja 400 is the one to get, but they're functionally the same. The Z400 is just naked and it works really well. Incognito says 43, you're still a young pup. Yeah, 43 is really not old at all. Not even a little bit. I would say you're peaking. You're a fine wine, my friend. And I say that as someone who's 31. I've got a long way to go to 43. You got a lot of good times ahead of you, and so do I. Love obfuscating the license plate with the finger. All right, Mr. Jeep 89. Second bike, 2014 Honda CB 1100. No other information, nothing about him. He doesn't want to know anything, and that's it. So this bike is so interesting. Let me tell you guys a little bit about this motorcycle. So the CB 1100 is not what you think when you think of the number and the letter in front of that bike. So Honda makes the CBR 1000R, right? Or the CB 1000R. This does not have an R in the last name, right? It's just the CB 1100. What this thing was basically supposed to be back when they made it was like a UJM revival motorcycle. So you guys will see that it has an enormous air-cooled inline four. There's no radiator here. This is oil-cooled. It's got the retro style, the cradle frame, right? We have a cradle frame, inline four, air-cooled. It's a kind of a throwback motorcycle. It's not really designed to be a sport bike. It's more designed to be a retro bike. Think of this as Honda making a tribute to the original CB750s, right? Kind of like what Triumph does with the Bonneville line. So you got, but you have modern components throughout the bike, right? Like you have Nissan axial mounted calipers here, a little bit more modern than what you'd see on the old school UJM bikes, right? But you have twin shocks in the back. So it's a bit of a mismatch between like a super modern motorcycle and something old school. Look at the twin analog clock right there. These are really cool bikes. They sound really cool. They go pretty well, but they're much more of like a big cruiser, basically. This thing really is just like a big cruiser. It's not really a sport bike, and it's not supposed to be, but these are super cool. People don't really think about these much, but these are really, really cool bikes. So Big Rob on Discord, a 2023 Trump Trident 660. Hey, we're going to assume you said Triumph there and you're not saying anything about your political beliefs. It's my first bike. I'm 22, 6'5", and 240. Big boy, linebacker, and I feel great. I got it used for 2K miles, mint for $6,900. I have made a few upgrades to it. Main ones, the sport bar end mirrors, Ermax nose fairings. This brand, Ermax, came up again. I've never heard of them before. Brogue LED turn signals. I will be riding this bike for a while. He just shouted me out at the beginning of the stream for being a new member. Well, very cool. Thank you, Big Rob. I didn't know I did that, but I appreciate you having you here. This is my favorite colorway for the Triumph 660, by the way. I thought that this one they did with the oversized Triumph logo and the red, certainly my favorite. And I like the Triumph Trident a lot. I really think they knocked it out of the park, and I think that the sales figures reflect that because I genuinely think that for the price, it is superior to an MT-07. Ooh, the cowl's kind of cool. Look at this. That looks nice. Kind of made it into a retro classic kind of vibe. It looks pretty cool. Yeah. Looking good on the bike too. You got the carbon fiber styled helmet too. Like, all right, I see you. You know, you're leaning into it. You're kind of making the whole thing kind of line up a little bit. I like when people do the matchy and kind of go for the whole vibe, you know? If you're on a motorcycle, you got to try to look cool, right? Like, you got to try to look a little cool. You don't want to look like a dweeb, right? Like, yeah, looking all right, man. All right, boys. That's going to wrap up the Bike Roaster. Boast, thank you so much for all the motorcycles submitted. If you want me to check out your motorcycle in the future, join up on the Discord. Toss me over your motorcycle on the live stream submissions. And you'll be able to hang out with us. Wake up! You're dreaming! You're dreaming! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! None of this is real! None of it's real! None of it's real! Wake up! Keep watching Yammie Noob.